Okay, um, this is my third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I don't even know how many time recording the my 1cc for Mecha Ritz Steel Rondo. This 1cc wasn't particularly difficult to get. In fact, like I got a 1cc on the first run. It's gonna sound like my uncle works at Nintendo story, but I promise you, I had this weird glitch and I had this like invincibility glitch and I couldn't die. Unfortunately, and this is where it gets a bit shady, I changed from running this game through Proton to running the game through just natively on Linux. And it turns out that like wipes your save history. I'm not sure why, but it does. And I lost the replay. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Anywho, um, I've gotten quite a few more clears since then. I don't know how many, maybe like three, three, four. Um, um, so yeah, the ranking system for this game is very forgiving, and the resources this game gives you is very generous, well, are very generous. So those two things combined make for like a pretty easy beginner shmup, but also a very fun beginner shmup because you can get into the scoring aspect, which isn't too difficult to understand. I think I've got an okay grasp of it. Not like the intricacies. Not. I'm not quite sure how the different. I can't hold all the information in my head. Pretty much. I think that's the main problem with me in scoring systems. But anywho, um, let us go here. One of my main complaints is just in terms of the menus, you can't tell which run you got the 1cc with. And hopefully I'm not blowing out people's ears because I did a whole 1cc recording, commentary recording, and then I lost it. Well, I didn't lose it. I've got it, but the audio is just so soft. I really need to get a proper microphone, like just like a cheap one. That's probably be better than the microphone I've got attached to my headphones, which is like really soft. And I'm always worried it's going to like turn around and like be attached to my shirt. And then, anywho, um, so my high score here actually isn't a 1cc. I died like right at the end, even though it's the more exciting run because this game has multiple routes. And so this was taking the second routes for all of the stages. And I died right at the end. And it's a much more exciting run. But I think I might show that. But for this run, I'm going to go not with the second best run either, but what's probably the most entertaining of those three, which is the a clear with the purple ship, which is a grazing ship. That's the gimmick. So it's got a little purple bar at the bottom of the screen, and closer you get to bullets, that fills up, and when it fills up all the way, you get a screen clear. So it's a very good ship for survival. Um, it's also got decent range. Each one of the ships in this game has a second variant. So, for example, there's a blue ship. All the ships correspond to colors. So there's a red ship and there's a second red ship. Second red ship just happens to be tangerine colored, but potato, I guess. Anywho, so let's get to the run, and then I guess I'll explain the rest while the run's going on. Um, so what I really like about the replays is it captures everything. It captures your settings. It captures which bullet colors you picked. It captures even which background you were using. You can see here I was using a different background at the time because I hadn't unlocked the little bear one, the multicolored bear one. You can see I've fiddled around with the bullet colors for quite a bit. Just because I struggled like a bit with the default one in terms of the visibility, like it doesn't like flicker quite enough for me to see. And you can also change the blast color and what your starting rank is. The rank is very prominent in the game. It's just shown in the bottom right, which I really appreciate. Um, the red is your number of lives, and then you've also got shields, which can take additional hits for you. The heat meter in the bottom middle is like a power meter, So the better you do, the more powerful your ship becomes, and that also affects how many resources you respawn with when you lose a green stock. So those are like the main things. The other thing is that you see these grandes popping up. Depending on how far away you are from an enemy, when you destroy it, you'll get a tall grande or short. The short, I believe, are 3x multipliers, tall is 4x, and grande is 5x. It's all in the manual, but as I said, I struggle to keep all of these things in my head sometimes. The bosses also all have sweet spots, so they don't correspond to any special animations, but they give you a point bonus. You can see the game is just constantly, I'll show you next time, I'll point it out, the game is constantly providing you with extra lives. And you can see there, those little green ships provided a score bonus. I'd also, there's a secret way that someone in the Shoot the Core Cast Discord pointed out. You can turn off the screen shake. It's like a bit of a weird thing. It's not like in the options menu. And I didn't know this for this run, so this run has screen shake on. But the screen shake makes it really difficult to figure out like exactly when you've been hit and exactly what hit you. And I don't like screen shake in general, especially in shmups. But in most games, I just turn it off unless I find it nauseating a lot of the times. But anyway, so the rank slowly increases the better you do, and bullets disappear at low ranks. So if you follow those light purple bullets with your eyes, they'll end up disappearing when they reach the bottom of the screen. There's also a timer above the boss. If you run out of time while battling a boss, I believe that locks you out of playing the stage 2 stages, I believe. I'm not entirely sure because the game is kind of opaque as far as like that is concerned. But I think that's how it works. So yeah, I picked stage. This is going to be an all A stage run. The story for this game is absolutely bonkers. I know like it's a shmup and most people don't care about shmup stories. Or like I guess like devs just, it's kind of like not the thing. But 12-year-old girl, super genius, like destroys all of humanity and makes a bunch of robots, I guess, to like do her bidding. And you're like the last human. I wasn't sure how you pronounce the girl's name because it's Veloce. And I thought it was Veloce, but then I also heard it pronounced like Veloce. And I wasn't sure. So I went into the Japanese, and it's written in katakana, and it's Beroche. Sorry, my Japanese pronunciation is terrible. Beroche. And so I think the English pronunciation should be Veloce, I think, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But I'm going to say Veloce from now on. Because she is the true last boss. I don't think there's another true last boss or last boss. But she might have like another form or something. Not entirely sure. I pointed this out on the other recordings that were just too soft to keep. But this was the shmup, the Shoot the Core Cast shmup of the month for April. So it's a very fun like book club type situation to follow along with. So that's why we're playing this game. And I'm really happy about it because I wouldn't have found it otherwise. So you see that little purple ship? I destroyed it and I got a bomb. There's some technical aspects where, like, I think if you destroy it at a certain distance, or maybe like when it appears on the screen, it depends how long you leave it on screen for, then you might get a shield instead. But you get bonuses for the mid bosses and bosses for not bombing and for no missing as well as for hitting the sweet spots. So we are rolling in bombs at this point. Yeah, this boss is like, I think it's supposed to be like, maybe this is my own head canon, but I think it's supposed to be like some kind of like super like roided up robot. I don't know, like he's got like giant biceps. I think that's what the screen said. It goes by quite quickly, so sometimes, you're locked in. I guess this time I wasn't locked in, but I still didn't read it. But I think I read something at some point that made me think that this was like some sort of, I don't know, like giant biceps robot or something. It's like a weird game for me to play at the moment because I've got like a lot of anxiety around like AI related stuff. So I guess it's like, I don't know, kind of fits the mood. I'm like, oh God, like AI, existential crisis related to AI. I don't know. But I guess that's like not the point of this video. You can see here like making tons of use of the screen clearing effect that you get from grazing with this ship in particular. This ship and it's the second purple ship. The second purple ship isn't a very good beginner ship though, I found, because it requires you to get in really close. It's a really close range ship, even when you have high heat levels. So the better you do, you can see that I've gotten like, I think that's max heat. I had like 4 bars, and that took a hit, and I got a bar taken away, and that determines 2 things. It determines the shot strength, or like the range of your shot in this case, I think, and then it also determines your how when you lose a green life, so when you lose your shields and a green life, how many shields and bombs you respawn with. So not only is the game very generous with the number of shields it provides you, but you also respawn with additional shields when you lose a life and bombs in some cases. So it's a very generous game. It's a Dorjin game, and it's made by a maths teacher, I believe. I read the translated shmup interview. And yeah, I always admire like Dorjin games and like indie games in general, especially when it's like made by like just one person or a couple of people. Just you get like crazy stuff like this with like the weird like wireframe aesthetic, and the bonkers music that's made on, like with just some guy and his synthesizer. I guess what separates the Dorjin and indie scenes is that like Dorjin, I think are just like mainly hobbyists. It's not really like a business thing. I don't know if that's me misunderstanding, but like you mainly sell it at like Dorjin conventions and stuff, but it's not like you're not expected to make a return on investment necessarily. As far as I understand, I could be entirely misunderstanding this. You can see we're just swimming in resources at this point. There's another timer at the bottom right, and sorry, my voice is going a bit hoarse because I already recorded a commentary and then lost it directly before this. Anyway, that's that bottom timer in the bottom right. If I believe if that runs to 0, then you can't get the true last boss. That's the condition. You get like instead of the 12-year-old girl, you get like a jelly bean bear or jelly bear, or maybe it's just a normal bear. I don't know. It's some kind of bear creature. Yeah, this boss you can fly through the middle, like the middle cylinder. It's kind of unclear a lot of the times, and you'll see this in like the final boss, like what parts of the enemies you can fly over and which ones like will just like count as a hit. And just like I guess through trial and error, we figured that out. Yeah, so like it's got the screen shake effect whenever you get like a sweet. So the sweets are the sweet spots that you destroy on the enemy ships, or just enemies in general. This is my most hated boss in the game. I hate this boss, and I believe that actually the B route boss I think is like, well, when I did it with the tangerine ship was like a lot easier than this boss. It's not only like the difficulty with this boss, because it's not necessarily even like super difficult. You can see I tanked my rank, but it tanks the rank because it's so difficult. It's got so much health, and it just like you chip away at it, and I keep running out of time. That's like the big thing with this boss. You can see I'm just trying to really exploit the screen clear, and then I took a hit doing so. It's just like really no fun. And I think like that's one of my maybe like biggest complaints, or not complaints, but just like one of the things that I don't enjoy maybe necessarily about the game, is that a lot of the bosses are very tanky, and it's just I'm not talking about their politics. You know, they just they take a lot of time to like whittle down their health, at least as far as I can tell. Maybe it has to do with which sweets you're able to get. But for me, it's just like I'd rather have a boss that's like maybe like a bit more challenging and like sort of front loads the action, rather than like having these long drawn out boss fights where you're not necessarily in like peril of like having your run ended, but you're just sort of like having your rank tanked and like not really having a good time. I just find that some of the time. And that's sort of the theme with this game in general, is that, yeah, you see we're showered with like more resources here. The sort of thing with this game in general is that it's not really necessarily about clearing the game, but for me anyway, because I found like the clears were really easy to come by if you really try for them, but more about trying to maintain like a rank above 0, like as you sort of make your way through it as a beginner, because yeah, like especially that like other boss just like tanks. See, here is that was an instance of me like not really knowing that I couldn't fly over the hitbox of that whatever the heck it was, and I took a hit, and that didn't help with me trying to get my rank back up. Because of course like rank affects scoring, and it's just like, you know, more fun when you're at like a bit of a higher rank. A higher rank for me, I mean like people are starting at like way higher ranks, like intermediate and on players, you know. But for like a real beginner or like a beginner, I don't know, like the game feels most fun when it's like at like rank 40 or like rank 50 or a bit higher, but like it's going to be sub 100. That when you get to, according to the manual, when you get to like the really high ranks, you it also affects not only the bullet speed and whether or not the bullets disappear, but also the enemies can take different forms, and they are also revenge bullets in case of very high rank, I believe. What's also very interesting is that the amount of time it takes to complete this game is highly variable. I've seen in runs. So there's some people that can complete this game in like 15 minutes, whereas like a normal run for me takes about 30. Um, so like there's a lot of like depth, I think, in terms of how you want to approach, or a lot of variety, I guess, in terms of like how you want to approach each run. It's also going to vary with each ship. I don't know. I don't know if this would like. I don't know what ships people are running for the speed runs. Um, for lack of a better term, I didn't mean speed run in the runs that are focused on speed, not speed runs. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Um, um, yeah, the doubles. When you see the doubles, I'm sorry if I'm just trying to explain like all these mechanics. I don't know. There's like the game has less going. It's less confusing, I guess, when you're playing the game. I didn't feel showered in mechanics or anything. And the manual was very helpful. Yeah, get another bomb. At this point, we're back at rank 50, and I find these guys kind of tough to deal with, so I'm happy I made it through without losing too much rank. I like this mid boss. I think I take a hit to the face here. Just just getting too close and just took a hit to the face. Now just exploiting the bomb iframes, and then also the screen clears from the purple guy. More resources. Yeah, I think this is where our rank might start to tank. If not here, definitely at the final boss for this stage. Yeah, those bullets curve in like a really sort of like weird way. I guess you're not expecting the trajectory to be curved. There's a lot of tea and coffee analogies in this game. I guess because Veloce, like, I don't know, like I'm no like Mecha Ritz law scholar or anything. But I I think she prefers tea to coffee, and like I don't know. I guess when you kill the whole planet, um, like kill everyone on the planet. I guess like you make the rules, right? Yeah. Here I was trying to get like a little a little spicy with the with the grazing clears, and I think I ended up like eating a lot of bullets. I should have used more bombs. I think this is the boss for the stage. A lot of the bosses for me, like I don't know if it has to do with the design of the bosses and just like the wireframe aesthetic in general, but I think that they blend together a little bit sometimes for me, even after like quite a few runs. So I've got like I don't know, maybe like 10, 11 hours in this game. Yeah, more resources, like just yeah. Um, I really, really didn't like the soundtrack to this game when I first started playing it, and then it just like, like it's got some real earworms that just like stuck to me. And I would just like go to bed and hearing like these like Mecha Ritz stage songs in my head. Yeah, our rank is taking a hit here. Yeah, I just like flew into that. The grazing mechanic is just like doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Yeah, this is the boss for the stage. It's like got a billion a billion sweet spots, and some of them are really hard to reach. Like those ones up front by the sorry, I keep saying like by the I don't know what these are, but like a lot of like the anatomy of these bosses, if you were to call it that, I don't really know what I'm looking at. So I don't really know, like I can't really point to anything of reference here. By the claws, like which claws has got like a whole bunch? Does it have claws? I don't know what I'm looking at. Which isn't a bad thing necessarily. But anyway, those sweet spots up front, like that I just try to reach, are really tough to get at. Yeah, and this just absolutely decimated our rank. I don't know what hit me there. And I said the same thing on my previous recording. So, but yeah, now we're on rank 0, and as you can see, if you just want to like get that clear at like whatever cost, you can just like, you know, like very low rank your way through this game. Because at low ranks, as I eat a bullet to the face at 0 rank, because you've got so many resources, I survived by the skin of my teeth here. You can see like you can make it through, even if you're taking quite a few hits, because like you're not gonna lose too many resources at 0 rank. And the game before the final boss, as you can see, these have hitboxes and are decoys and don't give you any resources, but some are coming up here in the middle where you get like a whole bunch of resources, shields and bombs, and a 1-up before facing Veloce. And there's just like wood soup over here. So like Veloce wants to take you to Hawaii, and I don't know what's happening over there. Obstinate dictatress. I didn't even know dictatress was a word, to be honest. Yeah, you can see the low rank is just eating those bullets. And you can just sort of like chip away ever so slowly and boringly at the boss if you really want to. Or you can try get a bit closer, which I am trying to do. I am trying to make this like a little bit more interesting, both for myself and for the replay. But yeah, unfortunately, this boss segment is a bit of a drag because like the bullets are slow, everything's slow. I'm getting hit on occasion, so I'm keeping the rank. The rank is still, you know, pretty low. But the patterns are really nice, I guess. Like really nice. Yeah, I think it's just like it's a skill. I know I keep saying this, but it's a skill issue on my end as well, just because. Yeah, I think like the more the better you get at this game, I think the more fun it gets. It would get. But I'm not at the level where I can like really deal with this boss at like even a like moderate rank, or what for me is a moderate rank. It's also getting kind of cold here. I'm in the southern hemisphere, so like I normally drink room temperature water, and like all of a sudden it's like a shock to my system. I'm just drinking this water which is at room temperature, but room temperature is kind of cold, and so it's not as soothing to my throat as I guess it normally would be. And there's a certain charm, I think I said this on the previous recording, but there's a certain charm, I guess, to like the really weird art style, and like crude drawings. I guess like you didn't really get to see them, but in the I don't know, I guess like interludes between stages. I'd already seen them, so I'd skip through them. But yeah, there's some pretty weird art going on. But hey, it's your art, right? And it's pretty cool. Like you did it, you made the game, and that's really cool. So here's like very clear, right? That okay, like this boss is huge and took up the whole screen, and yeah, you can definitely super fly over it. But a lot of the time, especially in like the B stages, I find like, can I fly over that? And like, I guess you just have to find out through experience. Um, yeah, so I'm going for as many sweets as I can. But yeah, it's like there's just so many, and I'm taking hits along the way. So it's like between like sweets and survival. I guess I'm choosing survival. Veloce is going to spill the beans. Yeah, some really beautiful bullet patterns, just like aesthetically. Yeah, the cruelty of research is worse than anything you can imagine. Veloce was going through publish or perish. I think that's what led to her whole world domination, kill all humans situation. Yeah, and like this stage, this final stage of the final boss is just, as you can see, like torturously slow. At least at this rank and with this ship, it's like it's like really I don't know, just a slog. And I don't know what it is about it. I have to think that it's just the, I don't know, the amount of health that she has. And we're still taking hits. We're down to one bomb. Holy, no bombs. Yeah, she's really upset about that research situation. Holy. And whatever the heck's going on in the background over there, I guess that's Hawaii. I don't know if she's taking you to Hawaii. Is that what's happening? Okay, and now we have a clear. I think, yeah, I think that's the clear. Yeah, the game is really clear. Like, I mean, look, like maths teacher, Dojin guy is just like here are the equations. Um, yeah, that art's pretty cool. And then after it's like I'm guessing the guy is like supposed to be the player character. I'm not sure. But anyway, I skipped the credits because I'd already seen them. And that's the 1cc run. I'm probably going to upload, I'm going to try get the B stage clear with Tangerine, the Tangerine Dream. And then, yeah, so hopefully I'll get that done before the end of the month. But if you're still watching, thank you so much. And you can't see me waving, but I am waving. Goodbye. Bye.